What's up, gamers? Welcome back to SIMplieSims. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into a new world together. On today's episode of the 30-day Create a Sim Challenge, we are doing day 12. Day 12 is a Christmas sim. And my ideas for this episode were kind of keeping a kind of father Christmas vibe, but doing our own style. So I used the story questionnaire to try and get a baseline for his traits and his aspiration. And I ended up going with something different than the country life one, just because I didn't want him to have the what is it called? I didn't want him to have the collector's trait. I wanted him to have something different. So I chose to, since he is a lawyer, I chose to have him do the archaeology as an aspiration. That way he has kind of like a little hobby. And so we named him Elliot Gulari, and he is a werewolf. And I don't know about you guys, but I always wonder where Santa Claus is when it's not during the day, or not during the day, but during the season of Christmas. And so I envision that like Father Christmas goes on vacation. But for this, I was like, well, maybe he hibernates for 11 months or he hibernates until summer. And then he comes out and like enjoys his time in the world, because people don't know that it's him. And so maybe he like stays in his werewolf attire or his werewolf form for most of his time out in the summer. And then like when it gets closer to Christmas, he does human form, something along those lines. And I do go back through and kind of fix the werewolf form with him, because I realized that I got him completely done and didn't even do it. So you're gonna see me go through, start typing out his bio, and then go back and do his outfit. So and as for his hair, I couldn't really figure out what exactly I was looking for. I wanted to do some sort of short hair on top with a very long beard, and then I was very indecisive on if I wanted to do like very, very blonde hair or I wanted to do white or gray. Definitely settled on gray because I thought that was going to be the better option just for the Father Christmas vibe. Or Father Winterfest. I forget exactly what he's called, but he's Santa. That's basically what he is. And of course, I wanted to give him a hat that definitely signifies that he is Father Christmas. I was gonna do the little, I don't even know what to call that, but the hat with the mistletoe. I was gonna do that, but I didn't like it. I thought it was too boxy. So I went with the regular Santa cap, and then I gave him some glasses. I was going to originally give him the monocle, but I was very much liking the circular lenses, so I went with those. And then I kept them as the brown, like marbling that glasses have. I was gonna do the lighter one, but I didn't like it. So, and then I was like, okay, well, what can we do for his body? And I was like, wait a minute. So if he spends his summertime out and about, he probably, or not even that, like, think about it with Twilight. Okay, I'm going to use this example. Jacob becomes a werewolf, and now he's all buff and like toned and a whole bunch of muscles. That was my thought process with Elliot. Yes, he is Father Christmas plus a werewolf, so Father Werefest. I envision that he would just get like killer abs, because I mean, why not? It's just fairy tales, I guess. And then I was trying to figure out how to make the dimensions look right, because very buff Sims in the game look way too buff. And I wanted to give him the signature like Father Christmas, Father Winterfest, whatever his name is, that suit. And then everything after that, I was just building off of like what his fun attire would be. So I gave him those glasses to have on every day. I gave him the hat to have on every day. And then I just started to kind of go through and balance out his body a little bit, because it just did not seem to be where exactly I wanted it to sit in terms of like slenderness and toneness, and then how big the muscles were. So just going through and making sure that I have everything in a balanced form for this. And then I was like, he's been alive for a couple decades, or not even decades. I would say that he probably is definitely like centuries older, just because he's Mr. Winterfest. He's Santa Claus. So he's going to have all of these things that represent like the Christmas holiday, and for a lot of mythology, when it comes to Santa Claus himself, you hear that he's been around for centuries, bringing gifts to kids. So I imagine that when Elliot got his powers, he was an older adult, which is perfectly fine. But he got 2 powers in one. He became a werewolf, and he became Father Christmas. Or Father Winterfest, whatever we want to call him. But yeah, so I wanted to give him more of a balanced body that would come from, in theory, becoming a werewolf, but also receiving these magical powers of, bringing gifts to kids and making sure families are together, and all of those fun like holiday things that comes with Winterfest, especially when it comes to like caroling and those things. So I wanted to kind of give him that personality that like he's focused on that during the season, but when it really comes down to like his time by himself, when he's not actually working, he's probably hibernating for 6 months out of the year, and then the rest of that, he's working out, he's eating right, he's super healthy, and just enjoying the sun while he can. And then I had the ideas that he would probably be more so in his werewolf form. And I don't know why I wanted to go this way, but I felt like he probably is going to look like your typical neighborhood, like friendly older man who he's always offering like candy to children. He's always offering to help people in line, or even just in the grocery store. Just somebody who's very kind and very helpful to the community. But nobody really knows what his story is, because he's not very open about it. He's kind of reclusive to himself. But when he's out in public, he just gives off a very like nice, calm demeanor, very helpful demeanor. So that was kind of my thought process behind making him and kind of trying to give him some sort of lore, and it not just be based on Winterfest or Santa. I forget what his name is in game, I'm not gonna lie. I just know that if the Winterfest sim dies, we get a new one immediately, and sometimes it's not looking the exact same. So it's kind of the same with any NPC that has like a job in Sims for like a holiday or an event or something like that. They always look so different if that one dies. I don't know. The only one that I can say that stays consistent is the Easter Bunny, but that's because it's a costume. And then just trying to figure out what I wanted to do for his hot weather outfit, because I thought about doing like a t-shirt and this scarf, and then I was like, no, that's a little bit too hipster, because it's not really what I'm going for him. And so I just tried to see if I could find like a very nice like hot weather outfit that was full bodied, and I genuinely could not find one. There were a few, but they were very like not the style that I was going for, that I imagine that he would wear. I imagine that he's very like old school when it comes to outfits, and it's funny that I say that because then I pick out this very loose like tank top overshirt combo and then these shorts. But I feel like he's pretty old school when it comes to his clothing and how he wears his outfits and things like that. Especially like when it came down to the cold weather. Because of course he's going to have a cold weather outfit that doesn't look like Santa Claus, but of course he's also going to have the Santa Claus outfit. And that's why I made it like the everyday, because then in special occasions he could, you know, look like a normal person, because that's what he is, or he can be a werewolf or whatever. And then just making sure that I don't have like random accessories. And I don't know, I wish there was a thing that like when you put or not put a sim in, but when you are given a default sim and you end up like wanting to use it, I wish you could be able to like take off all of the clothes, accessories, and things like that to give you a blank slate, because I know that there's a lot of people who are able to pick outfits from outfits that are already placed on the sim, but I have to take it off and then put on and see what I like, rather than like trying to figure it out piece by piece. And I wish there was just that option where you could take it all off and then start from like a blank slate. And I know that it's like weird because then the Sims are kind of like in their underwear for a little bit until you figure out an outfit. But I mean, what's a better way to figure out what you're gonna wear than to be in your undergarments and trying to pick out an outfit? That's what people do. I'm sure there's people out there that don't wear undergarments when they're trying to figure out what they're gonna wear for the day. But you know, it's one of those parts of it where I wish you could just start from a blank slate and not be given like, cool, some of the outfits are great, but I wish you were able to go through and just take them off, or just make it so there isn't one anyways. But yeah, so here we are with Mr. Gilroy, and Elliot is now our Winterfest sim, who is a snowy white werewolf during the other times when he's not delivering presents. But simulation over, friends. The fun never stops here on SIMplieSims. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll let you guys read out the story. Bye!